pretty much every corporate media outlet in the United States has been telling us that, yeah, the economy's bad, but it's actually still also somehow pretty good, all things considered, right? I mean, yeah, we have companies that have been laying off workers, unemployment is rising, wages are stagnant, prices of everything are going up, but hey, the stock market's doing great. So, of course, that means the overall economy must be doing A-OK in spite of Donald Trump's tariffs. Well, on paper, sure, that's what it looks like. But according to Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman, the economy is actually in far worse shape than most people actually realize. Krugman put out a very long Substack piece this week where he talked about what's really happening in the economy outside of that one area that seems to be booming. In fact, he called it a K-shaped economy. So if we picture a K, right? One part of the K is going up, the bottom part is going down. And he says the top part, the part of the K that is going up, is the stock market. The top 1% who all got their tax breaks from the one big beautiful bill, those folks are doing great. And a lot of what's happening with the stock market and things like that is we do kind of have another 90s reminiscent .com bubble, except it's not a .com bubble, it's an AI bubble, right? AI is exploding. It's everywhere. You can't even do a Google search these days without it being like, do you want AI to figure this out? Like, no. But that's what's driving this, according to Krugman. And maybe it lasts, maybe that bubble bursts. We'll find out in the future. But that is the part of the K that's going up. The part of the K that's going down is literally everybody else, he points out. If you're middle class, if you're upper middle class, if you're lower income, if you're in poverty, doesn't matter. All of those folks are going down. We're struggling to afford things, even for the upper middle class. They have had to make cutbacks as well. So we're feeling the squeeze. We are feeling the pinch. Long-term unemployment is rising. And that, of course, has now hit the same levels that we saw back in 2008 during that crash. But where I disagree with Krugman to a degree is where he says we're not seeing mass layoffs yet. And we are. I don't know. I think that's weird. I love Paul Krugman, but I will say, like, he says we're not seeing mass layoffs. Well, what's your definition of mass layoffs? Because we are seeing layoffs all over the country. I mean, businesses have admitted, they're on the record saying, yes, we're getting rid of these people. So maybe it doesn't rise to the level, I guess, of being a mass layoff across the country, but we are seeing lots of layoffs across the country, which of course is why unemployment is rising. You can't have rising unemployment if you're not having lots of layoffs. So that's a little confusing to me, but he knows more about economics than I do. So perhaps he's using a different metric to where it hasn't hit the danger zone yet, but I don't know. But what gets me is that this K-shaped recovery he's talking about is unlike what we saw before. And by before, I mean during the Obama years and during the Biden years. That recovery was more like a right angle, not right angle, but, you know, a acute angle, we will call it. Because those in the middle and lower class stopped getting hurt and things flatlined a little bit, right? We weren't going down anymore, but we weren't getting better. So our recovery was straight. And that, of course, is what led to people going to Donald Trump in the 2016 election and the 2024 election, because those people were left out of the recovery. The damage to them, to most degrees, was stopped, right? We stopped the bleeding, but we didn't help them recover. Meanwhile, of course, the top 1%, or top 5% really, Wall Street, stock market, all that kept going up. Those people were doing great. So this was that recovery. But those who didn't recover at all, those who kind of flatlined, they were the ones who said, I was left out. And that's the part I think that Democrats often overlook. Because they kept telling us during, like, the economy's great, everything's wonderful. What are you talking about? Prices are down. Prices are back to where they were. You guys can now buy a car without an 8% interest rate. Yeah, but we can't buy a car because our wages haven't gone up, because the cost of healthcare has gone up, because the cost of these other things has gone up. And we're not able to participate in the recovery, so we're going to change ships. We're going to go with somebody else and see if they do it. And then every time they do that, of course, things get worse for them. And then a Democrat comes along, stops the bleeding, but doesn't put them back on the upswing. So therein lies the problem with the cycle that we seem to be having this century of Republicans wreck the economy, Democrats stabilize it. Republican wreck, Democrat stabilizes. Right now, Republican is wrecked. 4 years from now, a Democrat's going to come and hopefully make it recover. Right? That's the other part. It's got to go up, but it's not. So that is what the Democrats need to work on. But first, we got to get through this horrific period of the media telling us that the economy is actually doing pretty darn good, while people are out there picking and choosing which groceries they're going to be able to buy for their family this week because their dollars aren't going as far as they did even just a year ago. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.